I don't think we ever did a dedicated Sheamus video. I know we talked about him forever, but I suppose people probably wonder, being from Ireland, what we think of Sheamus, and I suppose maybe in a way we are his official pundits. I'm not sure.
I like Sheamus. There was no point where I didn't like him, I have to say. When he came in at first on his ECW run, I didn't really know what way to take him, because we weren't really used to him too much, and we didn't really hear him speak all that much. But as time went on, I think he proved more than one point that he is legit in every sense of the word.
He is now the US champ at the moment, and the United States champion of the world, whatever way he can phrase it. He's putting it over, and they're pushing the nationality. So again, they're trying something different. They tried the kind of unstoppable heel that came through ECW, bulldozed through guys, and then they kind of moved it on. He did legitimately become the champion, which you'd forget, but of course I think at some point moved off him. He did defend at a Royal Rumble though, so I suppose that's a highlight for him. And now we've got we had King Sheamus.
King Sheamus, in theory, was probably funny on paper, but not so good in theory. I think it got old pretty quick. Maybe it was him. He might have just said, look, there's only so much I can do with this thing. I don't really know why it was pulled so quickly. Maybe because the whole King thing, I suppose these days you don't really see it too much. Booker did a good job. Lawler still is the king, and Sheamus, I think it was just time for him to go back and kick some ass.
I would worry that like things like the King, Sheamus and the robe and the fiery hand of Ireland, I still miss it. It was only on for a week, but I think it could have been fantastic. But basically you had that, and now where is he now? You've got the red, white and blue and stuff like that. It's good, it is funny, and it's probably the kind of maybe the least cheesiest way of pushing that, but I would hope that they didn't get too comical with the guy, and that he could end up in matches with Santino and Vladimir. He's on that same show, and I just hope it doesn't happen to him.
You can see a babyface run for him within the next year as well. He's got both of those on the cards.
I like that idea, because there is so much to do with him, isn't there? He's a flexible character. We've yet to kind of see him in a babyface mode, but like a guy like Drew McIntyre, they've both been almost, in at this, equal time now, and they both maybe need a fresh changeover. We all thought they were going to go a lot further with that rumoured backing from Triple H and Shawn Michaels, which could have been just a work, really.
Probably was, I'd say
it possibly was. But what was I going to say about Sheamus?
Across the board, the guy is good though. Even some of the, I suppose, interviews outside of that I've seen, he's always been very funny and seems like a genuinely funny, kind of a nice chap. So beats have to deal with CM Punk, I suppose, if you're an interviewee of any sort. I like the guy. Maybe that's just not because we're Irish. I just genuinely think if I was from England, I'd probably still think he was pretty cool.
I was going to say, you mentioned there possibility of a babyface thing. That's one way. If you also maybe kept him heel. Now, I kind of, again, like a Cena thing, I'd like to see the guy maybe taken off for a while, come back with sort of black everything, and maybe be, full on evil, maybe not even talk that much, go the Kane route, but not the Kane route, if you know what I mean. But he's already had the belt, so I suppose that's not so much a worry. They'll give it to him again if they did in the first place. But taking on the Undertaker, maybe this is a guy you want to make the guy who ends the streak.
What would be funny is if they dyed his hair black too.
There you go. I mean, that would be massive.
That
controversial.
That would get him over as a heel.
They could paint the rest of it black, but it's certainly something they could look at. They've got to do something one way or the other. Is he going to be there in 5 years? Do you think this is a guy who's going to last? Either way, he's going to have massive money on the independents.
Yeah, I'd like to see him. I'd like to think that he could last that long. You just never know with guys like that are kind of go up quick and down fast. 2-time WWE champion. What is it? His first US title.
First US
title. And ECW as well. Well, that doesn't really count, but that's 3 decent enough title runs. He's had some good matches too. He has had some good matches too. John Morrison, him and Jomo have had some really strong bouts. And him and Trips, him and Cena. So I'd like to see him. I'd like to think at least that he'd be around in 5 years' time.
Captain Charisma Y2J in the chat room. Will Sheamus have a possible gimmick change in a few years? Sonic Akuma, Sheamus could go back to basics. Miker, back to basics equals Smackdown bound, swap US title and IC title, meaning bring Barrett over and split the core.